an exam result decide my fate is a spoken word poem by Suli Breaks.
Suli Breaks uses a very serious, emotional, and inspirational tone.
To create this, he uses a stressed and powerful rhythm. He also uses an internal rhyme to create this rhythm.
This poem is important because it brings awareness to others about the flaws in our education system. This topic is not talked about that often. It is seen that when people do not achieve good grades, they are given a negative label.
This poem really connects with a lot of students because it talks about relatable issues such as running out of time during a test. This poem also discusses the irrelevancy between some subjects in which we will never put to use again in our life after exams.
He also talks about how each of us learn on different bases. For example, I learn by doing, although others may be learning visually, therefore making a point that our education system does not accommodate for all of our needs.
This poem also touches on how people have been held back from achieving their dreams due to poor marks. People who barely graduate high school are forced to have less paid careers just because they did not get the needed marks.
We believe this poem can change the world because it discusses a topic that is relatable to kids in the education system across the globe. This poem can affect us on a personal level because it explains to us that we should not let an exam result decide our fate.
Right now, there's a kid finishing parents' evening in a heated discussion with his mother, saying why does he have to study subjects he will never ever use in his life? And she will look at him, blank-eyed, stifle a sigh, think for a second, then lie. She'll say something along the lines of,
"You know, to get a good job, you need a good degree, and these subjects will help you get a degree. We never had this opportunity when I was younger."
and he will reply, "But you were young a long time ago, weren't you, Mum?" And she won't respond. Although what he implies makes perfect sense, as society's needs would have changed since she was 16. But she will ignore him, grip his hand more sternly and drag him to the car. What she doesn't know is that she didn't ignore him just to shut him up. She didn't lie because they're just returning him from parents' evening and an argument in the hallway would look bad in her resume. She won't lie because she had just spent the last 1 hour convincing a stern-faced teacher that she would ensure that her child studies more at home.
No.
She will lie simply because she does not know any better herself. Although all her adult life she has never used or applied Pythagorean theorem, pathetic fallacy, and still does not know the value of x. She will rely on society to tell her that her child, who is one of the sharpest minds in the school, is hyperactive, unfocused, easily distracted, and wayward.
Students, how many equations, subjects, and dates did you memorize just before an exam, never to use again? How many A grades did you get which were never asked for when applying for a job? How many times have you remembered something 5 minutes just after the teacher says,
"Stop writing,"
only to receive a result a month later to realize that you were only 1 mark short of the top grade? Does that mean remembering 5 minutes earlier would have made you more qualified for a particular job? Well, on an application form, it would have. We all have different abilities, thought processes, experience, and genes. So why is a class full of individuals tested by the same means? So does that mean Cheryl thinks she's dumb because she couldn't do a couple of sums? And if this issue is not addressed properly, then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Then every school has the audacity to have a policy on equality. The irony. Exams are society's methods of telling you what you're worth, but you can't let society tell you what you are, because this is the same society that tells you that abortion is wrong but then looks down on teenage parents.
The same society that sells products to promote natural hair, looks, and smooth complexion, with the model on the box half photoshopped and has fake lashes and hair extensions. With pastors that preach charity but own private jets, and moms that preach against greed but are all fat. Parents that say they want educated kids but constantly marvel at how rich Richard Branson is.
Governments that preach peace but endorse war, that say they believe so much in the importance of higher education and further learning.
Then why increase tuition fees every single year?
I believe Miss Jefferson, when she took me into the office, said that my exams would be imperative to my success, because we were taught to always follow when Miss Jefferson led. Then I took Jefferson out of the equation and learned to think for myself. I realized we were always taught to follow when Miss led.
The irony.
Test us with tests, but the finals are never final, because they never prepare us for the biggest test, which is survival. And what I suggest is fairly outlandish, so I don't expect everyone to understand this. Except for the kid that knows what it feels like to be worth no more than that D or that A that you get on results day. And the ones whose best stories were never good enough for your English teacher, because apparently you missed out key literal techniques, did not follow the class plan, and the language was too informal for him to understand. But then he'd reference Hamlet and Macbeth, and you'd fight the urge to express your contempt by partially clenching your fist with only your medius finger left protruding in the middle of your hand, and asking if he was aware that Shakespeare was known as the innovator of slang, or the kid at the back of the class who thinks,
"Why am I studying something that doesn't fuel my drive?"
but when confronted with a math problem, his eyes come alive.
So this one's for my generation. The ones who found what they were looking for on Google.
The ones who followed their dreams on Twitter.
Pictured their future on Instagram, accepted destiny on Facebook.
This one's for my failures and dropouts. For my unemployed graduates, my shop assistants, cleaners, and cashiers with bigger dreams.
My self-employed entrepreneurs, my world changers, and my dream chasers.
Because the purpose of
Why I hate school, but love education.
was not to initiate a worldwide debate,
But to let them know that whether 72
or 88,
44.
or 68,
We will not let exam results decide our fate. Peace.